You're watching StayWavyTV, your spot for boxing previews, fight breakdowns, and instant reactions the second the bell rings. Round 3? Nah, we're just getting started. Smash that like, tap the bell,
Haney,
and stay tuned.
a.k.a. Devin Debo Haney, says he dropped the Ryan Garcia lawsuit and that he never wanted it in the first place. He pretty much is indicating that his father, Bill Haney, is the one that came up with the idea to file the lawsuit against Ryan Garcia after he found out that Ryan Garcia tested positive for the PED Ostarine. You know what I'm saying? That loss ended up being overturned to a no contest. So Devin Haney is still looking for vengeance against Ryan Garcia. He just wants to get in the ring. Haney initially filed a lawsuit against Garcia for battery, fraud, breach of contract following their WBC super lightweight title fight in April of 2024. Garcia badly missed weight for the bout, then floored the former undisputed lightweight champion 3 times for a majority decision. I want y'all to think about this, right? Ryan Garcia dropped Devin Haney 3 times and only won the fight by majority decision. That's sad, bro. Usually when you drop somebody 2 to 3 times, you automatically win the fight by unanimous decision. That just goes to show how one-dimensional and ass of a boxer Ryan Garcia is. And it was further cemented when he had an opportunity to get a rematch with Devin the Dream Haney to pretty much clear himself of, you know, the Ostarine, you know, whole narrative. Because it's not an allegation, it's a fact, okay? He tested positive for the banned substance Ostarine. He pled guilty. He ended up getting suspended for like close to a year. I think it was a year, right? But then when he fought Rolly Romero, who many people don't look at as an elite boxer, who many people also look at as a one-dimensional boxer, he got his ass whooped, okay? He got dropped by a left hook from Rolly, and he pretty much was just trying to survive for the rest of the fight. And because of that, we ended up not getting the rematch between Devin Debo Haney and Queen Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying? By the way, Ryan Garcia got like 4 different lion tattoos. I guess he's a Leo, so he thinks he's the king of the jungle. He needs to replace those lion tattoos with chihuahuas because this nigga is not a lion, okay? So with that being said, Garcia badly missed weight for the bout, then floored the former undisputed lightweight champion 3 times for a majority decision win, after which Garcia tested positive for the banned substance Ostarine, or the ostrich, whatever you want to call it. Garcia's win was subsequently changed to a no contest, and he received a 1-year suspension for the failed drug test. Haney argued in his suit that Garcia's actions led to Haney suffering physical injury, emotional distress, and reputational damage, was costing him millions. And bruh, to all the people that's going to say Haney is soft, bruh, listen. After that fight, even after we found out that Ryan Garcia was on PEDs, the internet was clowning Devin Haney all over the place, right? Instead of clowning the guy that cheated, everybody decided to clown the guy that got cheated. You know what I'm saying? Everybody kept posting the highlights from the fight of Haney getting dropped. You know what I'm saying? You dudes was nailing Devin Haney to the cross for a year straight. And it wasn't until Ryan Garcia lost to Rolly Romero that y'all stopped doing that. Let's just keep it real, bruh. Y'all celebrated a loser, okay? So Haney argued, I already read that. However, Haney confirmed Wednesday on Uncrowned, the Ariel Helwani show, that he is no longer pursuing legal action against Garcia. He says, "I would say that my team was behind the lawsuit," Haney explained. "That wasn't something I wanted. I'm a fighter. I want to get back in the ring. I want to get it back in blood, and that was my mindset from the start to the end. I've always wanted to do the rematch." Now, that's cap, okay? Initially, I do believe he wanted the rematch, but after he found out that Ryan Garcia tested positive for Ostarine, he said out of his mouth on some interview, I forgot which one, Devin Haney said he didn't want the rematch. He said the guy cheated or probably cheat again. Initially, he didn't want the rematch, and he celebrated the fact that the loss was overturned to a no contest. So Devin Haney goes on to say, "It was a fucked up situation for me and my team because we got the short end of the stick. There was a guy that cheated and I was getting all the flack." That's a fact. I agree. "I missed out on a lot of money. I missed out on a lot of opportunities for a guy who cheated me. But I wouldn't have wanted to do it like that," which, you know, basically he wouldn't have wanted to sue Garcia, which he said, "I didn't end up doing it like that. I didn't go down that route. I said, listen, let's fight. Forget that. Forget any lawsuit. Forget anything. Let's settle it in the ring." That's when we were scheduled to fight. Garcia and Haney inked a multi-fight agreement with Saudi Arabian fight financier Turkey Al-Sheikh. Shout out to Big Turk, you feel me? And ride a season that would have seen them rematch this year after competing in warm-up fights in Times Square. Haney defeated Jose Ramirez at Times Square in May to complete his end of the bargain, but Garcia fell short to Rolly Romero later in the night, basically messing up the plans for a second fight. Although Haney ultimately went a different route following Garcia's loss, he still hopes to be standing across the ring from Garcia sometime in the near future. He says, "I'm a fighter and I want to get it back. I want to get it back in the ring." The businessman and the business side of me says, "Oh, we need to capitalize on the situation because of this and that." But the fighter trumps everything. Like I said, the most important thing for me is making sure we do the rematch. Of course, there's animosity towards Garcia. I was cheated. I didn't have a fair fight. It was fucked up, but it's business at the end of the day. So yes, it's animosity. But at the end of the day, we've got to come together to make a fight happen no matter what. Are we friends? No. We will talk about, will we talk to make the fight happen? Yeah. For now, Haney looks to become a 3-division champion on November 22nd and ride a season, seeking to dethrone WBO welterweight champion, the most overhyped man in boxing right now, Brian Norman Jr., in a much anticipated bout. Haney's path to landing on a Norman fight, however, was far from simple. The first fight that was actually signed was for the Ryan Garcia fight, he said. "We're going to fight in RADA, but we're going to face off after the Times Square event. We already had the date. We already had the fight signed. They were both going to get career-high paydays, but then Ryan lost, obviously. So then the next fight that he signed for was Teofimo Lopez, who ended up ducking Devin Debo Haney. You know what I'm saying? After the bouts with Garcia and Lopez fell through, a matchup pitting Haney against unified welterweight champion Jerron Boots Ennis was explored, but by that point, Ennis had already decided to move up to 154. Haney had yet to sign to fight at the welterweight limit, so the bout never materialized. With fights against Garcia, Lopez, and Ennis not happening, boy, am I glad that fight with Devin Haney and Jerron Boots Ennis didn't happen, because, bruh, Devin Haney is probably my favorite fighter. Boots is my second favorite fighter. Jerron Boots Ennis would have put belt to motherfucking ass on Devin Haney, bro. And I'm saying that respectfully. These are my two favorite fighters, bro. But Devin Haney can't fuck with Boots. Boots would knock Devin Haney the fuck out. I'm just going to keep it real. I don't think anybody can beat Jerron Boots Ennis at 147, 154, 160, 168. I think Jerron Boots Ennis is, he's next up after Terrence Buck Crawford retires, man. That's just how I feel. Haney's focus shifted to taking on the next best available opponent at welterweight, which he'll do on November 22nd against the sport's #1 ranked welterweight, Norman. Haney hopes to find a home for the next chapter of his career at welterweight after admitting staying at lightweight for too long and struggling at super lightweight. He said, "I feel so much better at 147. Haney said, "My weight is good. I eat what I want. My training camps aren't based on weight like they were for a long time. I go into training camp to lose weight and spar for skills. Now my training camps are really around game planning and really just getting better. It's not about weight." Guys, if you haven't checked this out, man, go on Fight Hype and check out Devin Haney's video he just dropped where he's basically training and, hitting the pads and shit, bruh. Devin Haney looks extremely strong and fast, and I'm expecting Devin Haney to have the best performance of his career against Brian Norman Jr. And I'm going to go as far as to say I think Devin Haney is going to at least drop Brian Norman Jr. I'm not saying he's going to knock Norman out, but he is going to drop him because I think Brian Norman Jr. is going to come into this fight overconfident, reckless. And that's naturally how he fights. The nigga's a reckless fighter, right? And I think he's going to get caught with some shit towards the later rounds, man. I agree with Greg Hackett. Shout out to him. He said the same thing. Haney goes on to say, "My sparring has been showing how sharp I am, how much stronger I am. They say I can't take a punch. People say a lot. I think they forgot about the Ryan Garcia fight that I got up 3 times. What does that mean? How can you not take a punch if you keep getting up? That's a fact. They say a lot. They say I can't punch too," Haney continued. "Now at 147, we'll see. We'll see if I punch harder, if I can take a punch better. That's why this fight is so important to me because they say I can't block a left hook, right? Well, we've seen Brian Norman his last fight. He knocked the guy out cold with a left hook. They say I can't take a punch. Well, we've got a guy who's strong, who can punch according to what they say. He's a kryptonite to my style. That's why this fight is such an important fight for me, turning the non-believers into believers and proving the doubters and naysayers wrong. You know what's crazy, bruh, is after Devin Haney beats Brian Norman Jr., you know what you guys are going to say? You guys are going to say that he ran the whole fight. You guys are going to say that he was holding the whole fight, right? If Devin Haney doesn't fight how you guys want him to fight, which is stand in the middle of the ring like he did against Ryan and getting his ass knocked down, you guys are going to complain. There's nothing Devin Haney can do to satisfy you motherfuckers, bro. You know, Devin Haney, and that's how you know somebody's great, bro. When so many people hate on one guy for no reason, you know, a guy that doesn't cheat the sport, a guy that makes weight. Devin Haney has never not made weight in his professional boxing career. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the youngest undisputed champions in the history of boxing. And you guys hate on this man, bruh. But you celebrate losers like Ryan Garcia, who drinks alcohol while training, says racist comments, attacks people's religions. That's how you know there's some really fucked up people in this world, bruh. But, hey, it is what it is. That's the life y'all choose to live. With that being said, man, it's your boy Wavy, StayWavyTV. Make sure y'all subscribe, thumbs up the video, leave a comment. I'm out.
Yeah, welcome to the vibe. Stay wavy in the mix, got the culture on the rise. Tap in, hit subscribe, ring that bell, let it ride. We gon' surf through the trends, give you game every time. Reviews, new views, keep it honest, never fake. If you're looking for the wave, this the channel you embrace. Stay